Siomra Beag.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to On Siomra Beag. Welcome back to the tiny room. I am the Michael of Michaelandbenjaminspodcast, and I am, as usual, joined by the man who can spill anything. It's Benjamin. Say hello, Benjamin.
I am currently working on spilling books.
You can't spill a book, Ben.
You probably can.
Look,
give me a week.
Long story short there, Ben spilled some water. I said, you should have carried the book. You can't spill a book. It was very funny in real life, and we forced it into a joke on the podcast. It hasn't worked. We both regret it.
I don't really regret it. I don't really care. It's
right,
fine.
Grant, fine. Benjamin, you'll hear there's a mysterious third voice in the tiny room today. We are joined across the table by the face of retro gaming Ireland. It's Naoise. Hello, Naoise.
Hello, how's it going?
It's going very well so far. Did Ben accidentally dampen you?
No, I'm not too damp just yet.
Very good.
I'll get you next time.
Benjamin, do you want to do a little introduction for us there?
The music for the podcast. We don't actually have anything music.
Very good. Benjamin, Naoise, we are in what can only be described as the pop culture lull of late February, early March.
Yes.
There's very few releases. The cinema is very quiet.
It is. It's pure quiet.
It's very quiet. There have been very few big movies this year, even if you think about it.
There's no Infinity War. There's no Endgame. There's no...
Exactly.
There's no closing of a chapter.
The biggest thing to look forward to this summer seems to be Black Widow.
Yeah.
In fact, Ben and Naoise, here's a riddle, right? You riddle me this.
Oh, God.
What do you think the highest grossing movie of the year so far has been? Because I was thinking about this earlier, and I thought, Christ, if I hadn't looked this up, I would not know.
Judging by the memes that Birds of Prey isn't doing very well.
No, Birds of Prey is not doing very well.
Sonic is doing really well.
Sonic is doing very well. Sonic's the second highest grossing film of the year so far.
Get out of town.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Get out of town.
$222 million international dollars.
Bet they're glad they went back and redesigned all that CGI.
Well, that's the funny thing. They do reckon that a lot of the success of it is that people who wouldn't go and see it have gone to see it because they feel involved in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were listened to.
Yeah. So it was like, we had our input into this. Let's make it a success.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the people who complained about it on the internet, once you've seen the film, they weren't the target market.
Not at all.
It's quite a kiddie film. And I know... Yeah, we talk about kids' films here a lot, and we analyse them from an adult perspective.
Which we probably shouldn't do. But look.
But anyway, the highest grossing film of the year so far is Bad Boys 3 Life.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Get out of town.
I know. $385 international million or something.
Martin Lawrence still pulling in the big bucks.
Martin Lawrence is box office gold, as they say.
Apparently.
Yeah, so I don't know if cinemas are struggling this year. But anyway, look. The one thing that hasn't dried up is horror.
Horror's always going. It's always going. Never takes a break, that horror. No, Michael is referring to a trailer that dropped this week for bloody Candyman.
Benjamin, we're so close together.
I know, it's so uncomfortable. I can feel whether Michael is enjoying the podcast or not, based on his heartbeat. It's shocking.
I'm very warm as well.
I know, the heat coming off this man is just uncomfortable. Naoise, I'm assuming you're okay on that side of the room and you don't have to deal with this level of intimacy that I never thought, now his arms
I'm
around
jealous
me.
of him being honest. I want to sit over there.
Come on, get the three of us on this side.
You really don't, Naoise. You really don't.
I'm very warm.
It's, yeah.
Benjamin, talk about Candyman, please.
Candyman. I didn't say it. It's fine. Candyman is a 90s horror movie from 1993, Michael.
Is it?
It is. And it's about it's probably unusual. It's an urban legend brought to life in the cinema. Basically, within a project, which is a working class, lower class area
Careful now, Ben.
government sponsored housing in America, often referred to as the projects.
The projects, yeah.
And basically, a spectral entity has decided to haunt the projects, and it's the Candyman.
Yeah.
And the Candyman is a big, nasty ghost that has a hook for a hand and a ton of bees. So if you're at all afraid of bees, it's not the movie for you.
I forgot about the bees.
Yes, the bees.
It's a
the bees.
He's a bee-themed killer.
He's a bee-themed killer. He opens up his jacket and inside is his kind of...
Is he made
decaying,
of bees?
He has a decaying corpse filled with bees.
Oh.
That's what he is. It's disgusting. But
now he's back.
But now he's back. So at the beginning of this, when this was originally announced, it was like, oh, Jordan Peele's next horror movie. It's not Jordan Peele's next horror movie. It's produced by Jordan Peele, and it's been directed by Nia DaCosta. But it is following the Jordan Peele of movie advertising method, which is where we take a classic R&B song from the 90s and make it all spooky.
I don't know if Say My Name is from the 90s. I know that's a bit pedantic, but...
Well, we take a classic R&B song,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we make it spooky.
Say my name, say my name.
Yeah, so it's very spooky.
Dracula.
It looks like it's kind of going to be in classic kind of modern horror fashion. It's going to be a little bit meta, where judging from the trailer, and this is all trailer analysis, so don't quote me on this, Nisha.
Yeah.
Don't judge me too much on this. But it looks like an artist moves into the area of the projects from the first movie, and gentrification starts to take place.
It's a sequel.
Because it gets, yes, I think it's a sequel.
Stop looking in my eyes.
It is a sequel, Michael. It is a sequel. And he looks to be possessed by the spirit of Candyman, or he becomes an avatar of the Candyman, which is going to be bloody interesting. It's all Jordan Peele territory. It's going to be really
Benjamin,
interesting. Go on.
if you summoned the Candyman and he was coming to get you, would you just go Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice and see what happens?
That'd be great.
What
That'd
do
be
you think
great.
would happen?
I think Michael Keaton would win. I don't know. He can transport people to other dimensions.
Yeah.
Candyman can just cut you up real nice.
Would Beetlejuice, though, would he be inclined to help you, or would he just help Candyman kill you?
What I reckon would happen is they'd probably get into a little bit of an ego competition, and Beetlejuice get all irritated and be like, "Oh, I'll show you who's a real spooky son of a bitch."
But would they have a spooky son of a bitch fight over who got to kill you?
Like, they would actually. It'd be a bit of a Freddy versus Jason vibe.
Yeah.
Uh.
Or you could go Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. Three-way
Titan clash.
Yeah.
Then. Bloody Mary wins.
Do you reckon?
Longevity.
All right.
She's been around a long time.
Yeah.
Oh, Candyman's just a rip-off of Bloody Mary. Oh, it's ruined it for me. Oh,
Have you not?
just took it away from
I
me.
mean, it's
Just like that. You stand
literally-
in the mirror.
yeah, it's the same setup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Nisha, are you a big horror fan?
I am a little bitch when it comes to horror movies.
That's okay, I am too.
Oh, that's good. You and Ben can not go to see it together.
yeah.
Great.
Nice.
Is it played by the same actor from...
Yeah, so it's the same actor has reprised as well. He's been seen on set.
Was it
Right.
Tony Todd?
It's Tony Todd, the big guy from the first one. He's a terrifying stature of a man. He's huge, and he wears that big trench coat. He's back, but I think the main actor from this trailer is going to take over as Candyman because he's possessed. One of the interesting things that they're doing to change it is in the original movie you didn't see that much of kind of a supernatural force to Candyman. You just end up kind of gutted and stuff like this.
Yeah.
In this, he seems to have much more of a kind of supernatural strength, throwing people around, kind of a classic thing. The opening scene from the trailer is quite harrowing.
Girls in the bathroom.
The girls in the bathroom, and then one poor girl has to witness this kind of bloody slaughter, which is just great crack.
Not great. Benjamin, you've written down here in our notes, Tales from the Loop. Tell us, Ben, what the heck is that?
It's going to be a bloody Amazon Prime thing. It's a little bit of an anthology series by the looks of things.
You
Michael.
enjoy those.
Basically,
Yeah.
Tales from the Loop is about a town that's built on top of a device that's used to contact the universe. Now, what that means, Michael, is beyond me, because I just saw a trailer, and it'll probably be spelled out as we go along. But basically, the rules of physics don't work in this town. The natural laws of physics and life don't work in this town because this device kind of changes everything. So you can get away with massive scientific breakthroughs based on the fact that they don't have to adhere to the original laws of physics.
Didn't they do that before? Wasn't there a show based on that before?
Yeah, a town called Eureka.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's a bit of a remake of that.
Okay.
But it's not a whole government thing. It's not a think tank or anything like that. This is just apparently a mad scientist moves to town, builds this universe communication device, and then the people in the town can do all kinds of weird stuff. They get brand new technological breakthroughs and stuff. It's got a pretty decent cast.
It sounds like the show A Town Called Eureka.
It does sound like the show A Town Called Eureka. There must be an echo in here, Michael. This is weird that bounced around.
Hope not. We've got all this padding and stuff.
Yeah, I know. We've spent so much money on it. Nisha can now see the full extent of the, really professional padding job we've done in this room, where we've kind of just taken panels and slapped them in different places, being like, yeah, that'll do it.
That'll do it.
That'll do it.
That's
That's how soundproofing works. Don't need to cover the whole room.
Anyway,
'Cause-
Ben, I'm not going to watch that, I don't think.
You probably won't, Michael. Amazon Prime's hard to keep up with. They just don't seem to do as much marketing as Netflix or...
I tell you what, though, is Picard on Amazon Prime?
It is.
Still pretty good.
You still enjoying a Picard?
Still enjoying Picard. I know that's not on our notes sheet, but it is pretty good. And somewhat thematically related to this week's topic, it's taken on a bit of a structure which you could envisage, let's say, a Mass Effect series having?
Well, look what he did there. That's a buttery segue, Nisha. You can enjoy a Michael Leonard segue in the flesh.
You ruined it, though.
I know, yeah.
You ruined it by pointing it out.
Well, I wanted to include Nisha.
So anyway, speaking about video games, here we go. Hello, Nisha.
Hello.
Welcome to the tiny room. Sorry you had to sit through that.
That's all right.
Nisha, so tell us, you are basically the face of Irish retro gaming.
I'm a blogger, a collector. Actually, no, scratch that. I'm not a blogger. I'm a collector, enthusiast, hobbyist, I suppose, of retro video games. So, not the Xbox 360.
Ben.
What?
There's nothing retro about the Xbox 360. You're such a young pup.
When did I say Xbox 360?
Earlier on, Nisha and I...
Oh, right, sorry.
We had the conversation.
We had a conversation about what we assume you consider retro.
I consider PlayStation 1 retro. That's about
Yeah.
my barrier for retro.
PlayStation 1 is retro enough.
Is it retro
cool,
enough?
yeah.
Do I pass the test?
So, Nisha, you started kind of seriously collecting about 5 years ago, is that right?
Yeah, about 5 or 6 years ago.
And does your girlfriend regret giving you the system that started this new obsession?
100%. God, she definitely regrets it. She was the main catalyst in me collecting, because I went to a friend's house and he had a Super Nintendo and I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like, I haven't seen one of these in years. So I hadn't been into retro games. Like I moved on. I went along with the times with regards to gaming. So I had a PS2, I had an Xbox 360, I had a PS3. And
Ben.
Not a
Very
retro
retro,
console.
yeah. See?
And then when I went to my friend's house and I saw the Super Nintendo, I wouldn't shut up about it then when I went home and for weeks and weeks. And funny enough, it was leading up to my birthday. Excuse me. And then Joanne surprised me with a Super Nintendo, a copy of Super Mario Kart, and a copy of Lemmings, which didn't work.
Oh no! Oh no!
But that's okay. I'll play Super Mario Kart.
So obviously, then, because it's a cart, it was the original console, not the modern mini versions.
No. It was a good few years before they were even announced any of the minis. Like,
How do
it was the original SNES.
How do retro purists feel about the minis?
Like I'm not a purist. I play on a big flat screen TV, modern. I use 16:9 is aspect ratio, which a lot of purists absolutely despise. And I kind of post pictures purposely using that now just to annoy them. Because, like, play it whatever way you enjoy it, you know what I mean? You don't have to have, not everyone has room for a big CRT chunky TV. So play it whatever way you want to play it. So some people might frown upon the minis, but I think they're great.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're really cool. You know, I have the NES and the SNES. I haven't got the new Sega one, but that does look really cool. And there's loads of games on it that if you were to buy them now, like for instance the SNES Classic has Earthbound on it, which wasn't available in Europe, so you can't get it as a PAL game, like a legitimate one. Obviously, you can get a repro one. But if you were to buy the NTSC version, the American, you'd have to get an American console, or you'd have to get an adapter, and then you'd have to buy the game, and the game could cost you hundreds, like literally hundreds. And if you want to get a box, which some people are mad into, I don't know, it could cost you thousands or whatever. Like,
So you're gonna have to forgive my ignorance here. On the NES Classic, the little mini system that you have, you don't need to buy cartridges. It's loaded into
it comes loaded with X amount of games.
There we go.
So the NES came out with, I think, 20 something games, and then the SNES Classic might have had about 30. But the cool thing about the SNES Classic was that they added in a game which was previously unreleased. So, you know, Star Fox or Lilac Wars, it has a few different names. They made a Star Fox 2, but never released it. So when they brought out the SNES Classic, they released Star Fox 2 for the first time, which is crazy because it was made like 20 years ago and never saw the light of day. Mm-hmm. So it was really cool to get an unreleased Super Nintendo game in 2019.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I really enjoy. Sorry, I'm going to get a bit nerdy here. I really enjoy new games on retro systems. There's something about that concept that just really tickles my pickle.
Yeah, there's loads of people that make their own games for retro consoles. Yeah, Etsy's. If you go on to Etsy, it's like a marketplace website. There's loads of people have homebrews and hacks of games where there's Super Mario Bros, but like it's Super Luigi Bros, you know,
Or Sonic.
or Sonic in Super Mario's world, and there's so many, there's just so many like different kind of homebrews and hacks that you can get, and it is cool to see new games. Like I think that Ukulele, was that a game that came out recently for Nintendo Switch or something?
Yeah.
But I think they might have they did something where they released like an N64 version as well. Now I don't know if it was a playable game, but they brought it out with the box and the cartridge and stuff like that.
Oh, delicious.
And it was really cool looking. Like,
So how do you feel about remasters of classic games then, in that case? In the same style of bringing these out on newer kind of versions of the console?
Are you asking me, Ben?
No, I'm not asking you.
Well, I really enjoyed Wonder Boy.
oh yeah, that looks
in
cool.
Dragon
I
World.
haven't
is that what it's
played it,
called?
but
So great.
Nisha is the guest.
Oh, yes.
I'm asking the guest,
Oh, boo.
not you.
Boo.
Sorry, Nisha.
I'm all for remakes. Be it video games, movies. You know, I don't understand why you wouldn't be for it, because if you don't like it, don't play it or don't watch it. And if you like it, then all it does is add to the fandom. You know what I mean? I don't feel like the remake of Final Fantasy VII is in any way going to take away from the original Final Fantasy VII.
They don't come to your house and kick in the door and take your Final Fantasy VII and stop you playing it. You can still play the original, Ben.
Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah, stop panicking.
Great. I wasn't.
Although, having said that, though, with modern rights management in games, there is a certain extent where that could happen. They
Kick in your door and
kind
steal
of
your stuff.
they can digitally kick in your door.
Oh, okay.
There's actually an interesting case recently that Warcraft 3 has been remastered. And if you are playing Warcraft 3, the original Warcraft 3 online, the remaster has kind of ruined the original because they updated some things. And yeah, so, I mean, digitally they can come and kick in your door and take your old games away.
Boo. Yeah. No good. You've just reminded me, Nisha, talking about the SNES. That was the first console that I ever got to own, because my grandparents one Christmas went off, and I don't know how they found it, but anyway, they went to something, I suppose, similar to Rage here in Dublin, or something of that sort. And my grandfather used to be involved in markets and stuff like that,
Cool.
and he helped people rent stalls and equipment, and he was wandering around one that he had helped set up, and came home with this old leather bag that must have been for school books or something like that. And we were like, what's this? And he goes, that's for you. And he gave it to me, and I was like, what is this? And I opened it, and in is the big grey unit, like, and the controllers. And he just bought this rake of like SNES cartridges. So we had like
nice.
Mortal Kombat 2 and Mortal Kombat 3. And my mum was
Mortal Kombat 4,
no, it's
Mortal Kombat 1. It was really just Mortal Kombat. Now that I
it was
think
really
back.
just Mortal Kombat, but Kirby, like the original Kirby game was there, and then it had the one with the neighbours who were zombies.
Zombies Ate My Neighbours.
That's the one. That was handy.
Nice.
But we had all these, and we set them up, and I remember the first time playing Mortal Kombat, and my
Mortal
mum
Kombat 2,
had just become obsessed with
Mortal
this
Kombat
console.
3, Mortal Kombat Special Edition. Just mad for Mortal Kombat. Go on, sorry.
I was, yeah. And my mum came in when we were playing Mortal Kombat, and she was so sure looking at the little characters and stuff like that. I was like, oh, they're lovely little cartoon characters. They're lovely. And then she saw this kind of clunky Mortal Kombat simulator, and your man gets his head kicked off right as she walks in. She's like, Jesus Christ,
That poor fella.
that poor lad. And she went, apparently my granddad got an earful from her later. I was like, what are you buying my son? But we still have that in my house, just this leather
nice.
bag filled with like SNES gear. It's gas.
Yeah.
Mostly Mortal Kombat games.
Mostly Mortal Kombat games.
Here's where we're going to have a point of contention, right? Just quick explanation for our international listeners, right?
Go on.
Our international listeners. Throughout the world, there was, in the 80s and early 90s, there was this famous Nintendo-Sega rivalry.
Yeah.
But Ireland was a weird place because...
Still is.
Yeah,
It still is. But in many markets, one of them dominated. Like, this was either a Sega country or a Nintendo country. But Ireland was really split. And I think in Ireland, particularly for boys, because video games did used to be predominantly a boys thing, your friendship group was decided by if you had a Sega or a Nintendo.
Yeah, yeah.
I was a Sega person, so you both sicken me.
Okay. Well, that's the end of the podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
you later.
Nisha is the one that ended it all. He is our Helen of Troy. Yeah, we're all done. We're all done. That's it. Keep playing Nintendo. Nisha, we'll start a podcast of our own. It'll be grand.
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat 1, 2 and 3, where we talk about Mortal Kombat 1, 2 and 3 every week.
Retrospectively.
We might not make a mint out of this one,
That's
Nisha,
all
but we'll
good.
try. We'll
It's
try.
a labour of love.
Look at this fella. He has a nice hat. And he can shoot lightning.
And you can change the hat colour as you go.
No, not in the olden days,
you
Ben.
can't,
That's
couldn't.
you see, that's you're too young. You
I'm
don't
too
understand.
young. Sorry.
Anyway, let's bloody get on with what we're doing. We're talking today, Benjamin and Nisha. 20 minutes in, we're talking about video game really inspired by Sonic a couple of weeks ago, and the fact that Sonic, as we have just found out, is the second highest grossing movie of the year,
Which is significant.
222 million, not massive,
but big.
big, on a budget of about 75, I think. Which is, it's made money.
It's reaped some rewards.
It has. And it is on track, if nothing comes along and absolutely derails it, to possibly having a shot at being the most successful video game movie of all time. Do you want to have a little guess, Ben, of what is currently the most successful video game movie of all time? Have a little guess. But, now hold on. I can see you thinking, if you're going to get it wrong in a humorous way so I can mock you.
Super Mario Brothers
It
starring
wasn't,
Bob Hoskins.
Ben. No, it wasn't. You absolute fool. What a foolish answer.
Okay, I was going to try and give a legitimate answer, but then I could see the hope in Michael's eyes that I would just screw it up completely. And
All right, go on then.
job done.
Give us a real answer. What do you think? It's not Super Mario Brothers.
No, I doubt it. What would be the highest grossing video game movie of all time?
Now, don't spend too long on this because this is
No, that's not podcasting
it's
gold.
not podcasting magic. People listening to you guessing.
It's not Assassin's Creed, is
It's
it?
not
For the
Assassin's
sheer
Creed, no.
fan base
No.
involved in Assassin's
know?
Creed.
I'm going to guess Resident Evil just because of the amount of them.
Probably in terms of the series, yes, but the single individual highest grossing video game movie of all time, instantly forgettable but quite successful, Warcraft.
Oh, no
Oh,
way.
God.
I tried. I'd say I watched it for about 20 minutes and
Yeah,
that
it's
was
a
it.
hard watch.
Couldn't do it.
That was really upsetting as well because it was Duncan Jones, wasn't it?
It was Duncan Jones, yeah. It was his kind of foray into
Big movies.
mainstream pop culture blockbusters. It was
Chinese
actually-
loved it, didn't they?
The Chinese loved it. Grand bunch of
Grand
lads.
bunch of lads,
Grand
Chinese.
bunch of lads. They did absolutely love Warcraft.
Loved Warcraft.
But let's go back and talk about the video game movie that started it all, Ben. Your favourite and mine, the Super Mario Brothers from 1993.
So I've fallen in love with this movie for one reason and one reason only, Michael. It is directed by two people who have the most porno-like names that I've ever come across. Rocky Morton, and Annabelle Janka.
Yeah.
Which is it's right up there on the Pornhub top watch this week, trending this week.
I reckon they're pseudonyms.
They must be. They must be. But yeah, the Super Mario Brothers starring Bob Hoskins and Edward Hopper.
John Leguizamo.
No, it's John Leguizamo but Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper.
Edward Hopper. Who's Edward Hopper?
Dennis Hopper
Dennis
in it
Hopper.
looking every inch like Rutger Hauer.
Yes, so Rutger Hauer.
Yeah.
So Blade Runner.
Anyway, look, Ben.
Come on.
The real reason we've brought Nisha in is he unashamedly loves Super Mario Brothers, the movie.
I love it.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell us more.
I know it's, well, not even theoretically, it is a terrible movie. But I absolutely love it. I'm completely blinded by nostalgia and being a kid watching it. I can remember like watching it on Christmas Eve on the TV and just being blown away, like, and trying to pick out, oh, that guy's supposed to be Toad, or that's Yoshi, whatever, like little kind of hints of the video game. But even though it is absolutely awful, oh my god, it's so bad. But I love it, and I've watched it so many times, and I love the I don't know if you ever know any of the background on making the movie, but apparently it was a complete and utter shit show.
Good.
Like rewrites, different directors, Bob Hoskins and Anthony getting really drunk while they were acting and stuff.
Excellent.
So yeah, it was very turbulent. I've learned all this from watching The Game Historian. He has an episode on it, and it was just absolutely amazing. Like, to look at, like, hearing how much madness went on during the filming of this terrible movie. But I still love it.
I was introduced to the concept of the Super Mario movie through memes.
Oh,
Because
yeah?
I had always seen the little dinosaur-headed guy in memes.
The
I think
Koopa Troopers.
He's supposed to be a Koopa,
Koopa
Trooper, isn't he?
Yeah.
And I never realised until I actually looked up some YouTube clips Clubs.
YouTube clubs, yeah, YouTube clubs.
YouTube clubs coming this fall from Google.
It's lucky you don't speak for a living, isn't it?
No, it is, isn't it? It's good that I don't, occasionally have to speak well, because that'd be awful. I looked up some YouTube clips.
Yeah.
Got it. I got it, Michael.
Yeah.
I got it that time.
Come on.
And I realised their heads are tiny.
Yeah.
They're inside big 90s suits with tiny heads.
Kind of like Beetlejuice and he had his head shrunk.
Yeah. Look at that, cyclical. He's a natural. He's a natural.
I watched this film last night.
Okay.
Because I thought, look, I'm not.
You watched it, did you?
I watched it last night.
Deadly.
I thought I'm not going to lay into this film on memory.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I watched it, and first of all, you know what? It's not that much worse than Sonic.
Oh, really?
It's not. It's all shagging over the place, and it's a real late 80s film. Even though it came out in 1993,
That's late 80s.
you can see what you mean about it was in development hell for years. It's such an 80s film. For some reason, Mario who's played by Bob Hoskins, and is this little short, balding, mustachioed
relatively
man.
good actor.
He's a good actor, but for some reason, his girlfriend is this bizarrely busty, sexy lady. I mean, that would never happen in a kids' movie now.
Yeah.
And like the evil henchwoman, Koopa's henchwoman,
Yeah.
I think her name is Lena. She's played by an Irish actress.
Is she?
Yeah.
Gas.
And she's this bizarre psychosexual dominatrix lady. And Mario and Luigi get beaten up by this very large, strong, muscular woman who Mario has to seduce her.
So 80s.
He has to seduce her to try
With
and get
to get the boots off her.
yeah, and to get the meteorite from out
Oh,
between
yeah.
her large chest. The sort of stuff that you would never see in a kids' movie today. It's
Wow.
such a psychosexual nightmare, this universe they're transported to.
Is Dennis Hopper Bowser in this? Is he supposed to be...
Yeah.
Well,
He's He's King Koopa, I think, or he's Koopa something.
yeah, King Koopa, I think he's called.
Okay.
Yeah, King Cooper even.
He has a big long tongue at one point.
Yeah.
because he got semi-de-evolved. But here's the thing, right? And this is where you can both hop in and talk over me if you want. But this movie bears so little resemblance to the Super Mario Brothers games.
Big time.
But it had to. Because games back then, the plot was go from the left to the right and find the princess. How in the holy hell do you make that into a film?
Well, you have to be a fan of the game, first of all. This is the thing. Apparently, when the movie started out, it was a completely different film. And Bob Hoskins was saying that he was going on set and not even learning whatever his lines were for the day, because he'd get one on Monday, and then on Tuesday it'd be completely different. So they didn't have any narrative to stick to make it similar to the video game. Well, that's what I think anyway, because it chopped and changed so much. It's like, how can you? But you're right, because how can you bring this world to life? But surely they could have done it a little bit better. But like, even Toad, the guy who's like busking on the streets and has a terrible haircut, and like, surely he should have been a more significant character in the movie.
Well, that's what they did, isn't it? They made a bizarre interdimensional travel film.
Yeah.
They just made a bizarre interdimensional travel film and then slapped Mario character names on it. That's what they did. Like the world they go to is this bizarre post-apocalyptic kind of Mad Max New York kind of place.
Yeah.
But because there used to be a king and he got turned into a fungus, it's the Mushroom Kingdom. See?
Boring.
That gets us around it.
Look
Gets
at
us
it.
around it.
This is a classic 90s writer here in the studio. It's our fourth guest for the day. It's Max Valance, 90s screenwriting superstar.
What we'll do is we'll call it the Mushroom Kingdom, then we'll all film that and we'll go have some cocaine. Are you guys okay with that?
Pretty solid with that,
Yeah,
Max.
yeah.
Let's have some
sounds like a good
goddamn
plan.
cocaine. We've been making this movie too long. I'm getting antsy.
As usual, Max, half your fee will be actual money and the other half will be a mountain of Peruvian marching powder.
Great.
Just for you.
Have the usual girls deliver it.
Oh, the busty dominatrix with the meteorite.
Yes, that's the one.
I think in general, like, level design is one of the biggest nightmares for any movie adaptation.
Go on.
In general, but it's the playability of video games that makes it so difficult. I think a lot of the times when we get the rights to video games to make them into movies, people are like, oh yeah, people love this lore and franchise, and it's not necessarily that. People enjoy the experience of working their way through that world, and I think adapting it into a film takes that away from the viewer. They're not in control of that world anymore. Mm-hmm. And I think especially with more open world games where you get to make your own choices and things like that, people play the character they want to play the way they want to play the character. And then what happens is you're watching it in the cinema like, the character would never make that decision. The character would never do that. And it's like, well, they might, but there's no set way that character would behave.
You do it.
Do you know what I mean? And I think that kind of gets in the way and it blocks a lot of what is going on as you watch. I think a couple of movies have made some pretty big attempts at that kind of first player thing. Hardcore Henry. I don't know if you saw that one, the film seen completely from the perspective.
With Jerry B.
I'm not sure.
Oh no, it wasn't Jerry B. Was it Jerry B?
I don't know.
They did it in Doom as well with The Rock, didn't they?
Yeah.
He turns to the first
That's
person.
the last scene, isn't it? They switch over to first person shooting, which is just bizarre.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty cool though, but
No, it was great to watch because again, that's the experience that you're familiar with.
Yeah,
now,
exactly,
watching an entire movie in that shaky kind of movement style would probably drive you mad.
It was Charlotte Copley, wasn't it?
I think it might have been Charlie Copley. Yeah, it sounds like one of his. Mm-hmm. And then I watched another one in preparation for this called Guns Akimbo, which was a Daniel Radcliffe one that came out just before Christmas.
I've never heard of that video game.
It isn't, but it's based on video game design. It's a big open world player versus player thing. Basically, in this movie, it's similar to The Purge, I guess, but like an illegal purge. There's a group called Schism, and what they do is they track down, kidnap, and modify psychopaths or former convicts or something like that, and then they make them fight in real world matches. So they say, you have 24 hours to kill this player. And then the whole thing is filmed with drones illegally, and you have these people running around. But basically, one guy gets in trouble, and Daniel Radcliffe's character gets pulled into this world, and he has guns bolted to his hands. Yeah. And so he always has to move with the guns and stuff like this. But it's all level design where he has to find the different characters, move from one level to the next.
Really?
And it's not directly referenced that's what it is. But that's clearly what it is. And there's one entire action scene that's set up like the old Donkey Kong versus Mario level.
Yeah.
Where he has to go up the different levels.
Yeah.
And fight his way through.
Deadly.
And it's shot.
That sounds class.
Like
Really?
And it's a really interesting film. Like, it's not the best film in the world. It's starring an Irishman as the antagonist. I'm going to get it wrong. Damn it, I had it written down.
We spin our wheels while
you spin your wheels very, very quickly.
So, Ben, it sounds quite good that you're looking at your phone to find out who is the baddie.
Thanks for that.
Is it Colin Farrell? He's Irish.
It's not Farrell, no. It's not the Farrell.
Come on, keep scrolling.
Guns Akimbo.
Keep scrolling.
The young guy from the...
No, he's not young at all. He's an Elflin. You see him around Dublin all the time. He's always in and out of different places. Why is IMDb so good? Neil Dennehy. There it is. Ned Dennehy. Sorry,
Never
Ned
heard of
Dennehy.
him.
He pops up as a character actor in everything. He was in
that
Peaky
fella.
Blinders.
Yeah.
He was in Good Omens.
Can I see him?
Yeah, that's Ned Dennehy.
Yeah.
He's the main villain. He's all covered in tattoos and stuff. And he has different boss levels because basically the character that he has to kill is like a boss. So every once in a while you see it. And they're all boss fights. That's what they are between different characters. So it's a really interesting thing.
I am literally going straight home after this to watch them.
Yeah, it's out now. You can get it now on download. Legally, of course.
Is this podcast sponsored by that film?
It should be. It's Guns Akimbo.
Guns Akimbo.
That's what it's called. Guns Akimbo. And it's got Daniel Radcliffe in it. And it's not that bad.
If it's no use, then we'll start a witch hunt.
Yeah, that's fair enough. You can come after me. But yeah, I think it's that level design, and I think it's that experience of actually getting to control the character that's missing from a lot of these movies. I don't know how you feel about that, Naoise.
Yeah, well, I do. I hadn't thought about it like that before, but now that you say it, it makes perfect sense. So, absolutely, because people play games so differently. Like, with games that you have so many different choices, like, do you ever play Dragon Age? It was on the PS3. So many different choices, so many different outcomes. You can be good, you can be bad, or whatever. So I could play it completely different to you. We could both love it, and then we go into the movie, and it's might be the way I played it. You're gonna hate the movie.
Exactly.
The way you played it, I'm gonna hate the movie. You know, so it'd be very completely split people. But yeah, that's I never thought about it like that. But it's a very good way of looking at it.
There you go.
In a sense, then, it
Do you
makes...
hear that? It's a very good way of looking at it, Michael.
One compliment. You get one compliment.
Just saying.
We're too close together for your head to get any bigger. When you take that into consideration, though, it's kind of a miracle then that The Witcher worked.
Yeah, I loved it.
The Witcher was very, very good.
I played about 20 hours to 30 hours in the game, and I feel like I didn't progress at all, and I didn't have the time to delve into it. I was I can't put 200 hours into this game. Like,
I think we've talked about this on the podcast before.
Yeah.
I had exactly the same experience with The Witcher. I've started it probably 6 times, and gotten about 10 or 15 hours in each time, and then gone,
where am I?
what's going
What
on?
am I doing? Yeah.
Why have I been playing this for 15 hours and I'm still shit at it? What's wrong with me?
Yeah. See, that's why retro games are fucking deadly. Because you pick up Super Mario Bros, boom, you're playing it, you're having fun within the first few seconds, you're going from left to right, and that's why they're fantastic.
Unless you're me, in which case it takes you roughly about 15 hours and you're still shit at retro
Check out
games.
our famous video friendship test where Ben tested my patience by playing Spider-Man versus the Kingpin.
It's your own fault. I told you I can't play video games. You didn't listen. So have you seen any of the other like more modern adaptations of retro games then? Stuff like Rampage from...
I've movie-wise, I've seen... it's not retro, Assassin's Creed. I'm trying to think of the movies. I've seen all the Resident Evil movies, which Resident Evil is, I'd imagine,
I think
started
that's
on
fair.
N64,
Yeah, exactly.
or on PS1. I love the Resident Evil movies, all of them. I thought they're fun. You know, I'm not expecting an Oscar winner here. Like, it's just it's a bit of fun, blood and gore. I'm trying to think. Hitman. I really liked the first Hitman that came out.
That was the one with Timothy Oliphant.
Was
That's
it?
a fun name to say.
It is, isn't it? It was him and Olga Kurylenko. I always get that wrong.
In Lord of the Rings, he's called Timothy Oliphant or Timothy Mummakill.
You can just
Little
ignore that
Lord of-
niche shit. You can
Oh
just ignore
no!
that.
Elaborate, please.
Little Lord of the Rings joke for you there.
That's for the very niche group of listeners that are actually Lord of the Rings fans. In terms of like Resident Evil and stuff, do you find that that's like a faithful adaptation, or do you just enjoy seeing the all-out gore?
I just enjoy the gore.
Yeah.
I enjoy the movie. Like, I didn't look at it as a complete, like, what would you say? Oh, the video game turned into a movie. It's just an adaptation of
Yeah,
its,
so
of
it's
its
not
writing.
a faithful kind of
Yeah.
shot for shot.
I mean, they don't even try, really, do they? I mean,
No.
They introduce a super heroic character who has superpowers, and it's his wife. And
it's your wife.
imagine the game Resident Evil, but if instead of the main character, it was your wife, and she has superpowers.
But that's not at all like the video game.
But that's it. That's the Resident Evil series. And I say that as if it's a complaint, but I love every single one of those films. They fall into that Resident Evil, Underworld, I, Frankenstein. zone.
Underworld.
I, Frankenstein.
fucking love Underworld movies.
See?
There you go.
Absolutely
Good movies.
amazing.
Good
Little bit like a
movies.
video game.
Kate Beckinsale.
They do. They have a bit of a video gaminess about them.
video
Yeah,
game-esque
absolutely.
quality to them. They're like shoot 'em ups.
Anyway, where were we going? Nisha,
Yes.
is it true to say that your favourite game is Pokemon?
One of. Pokemon Blue be one of my favourite games. It's in the top 3.
Just-
Absolutely.
Assuming that some of our listeners aren't that up to date on video games, just very quickly tell them what Pokemon Blue is.
It was one of the original Game Boy games. It started out originally in Japan. It was Pokemon Green and Red, so they didn't have a blue. And then when it came to
Didn't know that at all.
Western markets, they made it red and blue. And then obviously yellow, which was they brought in all the kind of characteristics of the cartoon with Pikachu walking behind you and having Jesse and James for Team
Oh
Rocket.
yeah. No, sorry. First 2 games I ever owned were
Mortal Kombat 1 and 2. You've already told us
And
this.
4 or 5.
But no, the first kind of Game Boy thing I ever got was with my communion money, and I
nice.
bought red and blue at the same time,
No
not
way.
realizing there was no
they're the
difference
same
between the 2 games. And I went and I bought them because everybody in school had them, and I was like, I'm gonna get them both. And
Nice.
I wasted some of my communion money on both.
That's an investment, if you ask me.
Yeah, well, fair enough. They're still knocking around somewhere in the house. Those are really interesting games, though, in terms of stuff like that. Like they were completely open. Well, kind of not
They're
open
pretty
world,
big,
but they're open world.
Pretty big games, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you could take you maybe 50 odd hours, 60 odd hours to complete it, and that's just completing the story. Then, if you wanted to collect all of the 150 official, 151 unofficial,
You'd have to
you know.
trade and stuff, wouldn't you?
Yeah, so you'd have to have red and blue to mix and match.
See,
So,
20
yeah,
years
you're
later,
ahead
you
of the
find out
game.
you were ahead of the game.
There you go. Look at me, huh? Look
Yeah.
at me. Yeah, no. Did you see the Detective Pikachu?
I have seen it numerous times. and I absolutely loved it.
Oh,
Now,
very
I
interesting.
don't think it was, again, it's, I don't know, is it a video game movie? Would you
Is it?
yeah,
there's a
like,
question.
like, it is, and it isn't.
Imagine if you took Pokemon,
Yes.
but instead of the main character being Pikachu, it's Ryan Reynolds and your wife.
I'm pretty okay
I'd be
with
okay
that.
with Ryan Reynolds as my wife. That's fine by me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. When can I meet him?
I mean, yeah, it's not based on a specific video game.
No, I don't think so. But I thought it was a fantastic film, and like, but I and I'm assuming every other Pokemon fan have been waiting so long for a live action movie to come out that it had a lot to live up to. You know, there was I felt like there was a lot of pressure on it to be good, and now I'm known as what's called a Gen 1er. Right, so I'm the boomer of Pokemon. Is that what it's called, a boomer?
Yeah. Okay,
boomer.
boomer. Yeah.
Such relevance.
I'm a Gen 1er because I've only ever gotten into the Generation 1 of Pokemon. I've never moved on. So, but what I liked with Detective Pikachu is there was loads of newer Pokemon, which I couldn't tell you what generation they're from, because there's absolutely hundreds of them now.
Those monkeys that are pricks.
Yeah, those little prick monkeys.
Prick monkey. That's
Yes,
what it's called in the game.
yeah.
That's what it's called in the game.
And but that movie actually made me want to go back and learn about these new Pokemon, prick monkey one, and then he
Pokemon,
evolves into
prick
big prick monkey. So, but it actually that's what I really liked about the movie, was that it got me interested in the newer generation of Pokemon. So not just the original ones, and I feel like, now I'm a super Pokemon nerd, right? I love Pokemon, but again, I've always kept it to Gen 1. So now with Detective Pikachu, I'm kind of starting to branch out a little bit, you know.
You're giving it a go.
Giving it a go, yeah.
My cousin dies for Pokemon. He loves them. He plays it on Switch all the time. He comes over and he thinks that because I would have stopped at Gen 1 as well, like the anime and the thing.
Yeah.
But he comes over and he'll like tell me all about these Pokemon. He's like, you know what I mean? Because this one evolves into this one. I'm like,
Yeah, Nidoran.
I know what you mean. And he's like, and then he was like, and it was so obvious to me that I needed an evolving stone. I was like, evolving stone, I know that one. I know that one. I don't know.
Eevee. Yeah,
And
Eevee and
I was
so on.
like, oh, did you have an electric type? He's like, no, but it's a ghost type. Come on. It's a fairy type Pokemon. Get
What
your
are you
head in the game.
talking about,
And I was
bro?
like, yeah.
I have Pokemon Red and Blue.
I
And
have Pokemon Red and Blue.
and Mortal Kombat 1 through 5.
I did actually try and show him Red and Blue, and he was just like, this is so boring. And I was like, oh, okay, never mind.
I mean, most Pokemon fans these days, I'd say, what's the average age of a Pokemon fan? Probably like 23, 24?
Even younger, I would
Yeah.
imagine,
Gen
yeah.
1ers, like,
No, I mean, current big
Current gen
fan,
Pokemon, yeah. Like, I actually got a call off one of my best friends. He was in CEX yesterday, and he had my godson, his son, and he was buying him his first Pokemon game. And
Oh,
AJ
wow.
is only 5.
Wow.
And it says on the box 3 and up. And I was like, oh, like, could he play it? I don't know. Like there's a lot of, they're quite difficult games to navigate through. They're quite big. But then I feel like the newer ones, like, Let's Go Pikachu or and Eevee, they're a lot easier than the original ones. So maybe they've been made easier for younger generations to get into. So I think the kind of fan base is, from judging by that game, was 3 and up. Judging by what it said anyway on the game.
yeah.
So I don't know. It's like, and then it varies up to me, who's 32, still a nerd.
So yeah, well, we kind of get stuck this way, don't we? So do you think like movies like Detective Pikachu are probably the way to go to make a more entertaining video game movie in the future? Then
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, you could do, but like, I'm kind of contradicting myself, because I didn't like the way Mario wasn't like Mario, but now I like the way Pokemon isn't like the game. So. Yeah, I don't know.
I think,
like, I'm trying to put it into words.
I don't want to put words into your mouth, but
That's
I
okay.
think you're right, though. I think what you're basically saying is, make a good film. Make a good
I
film.
don't care what's in it, just
Yeah.
as long as it's good.
If the structure of the game lends itself to making a good film,
yeah,
keep it.
yeah,
If it doesn't, and you only get to keep a few things, at least make a good film with those recognizable things in it.
Yeah.
That's what Pikachu was. Pikachu is a good... Even if Pikachu was just about a man and an electric mouse and you'd never heard of Pokemon before,
Yeah.
it's still a decently told film.
yeah, it's an entertaining.
And it's the same with Sonic. I think if you enjoyed Detective Pikachu, you'd enjoy Sonic because it's similarly kind of. It builds this world.
It's a buddy
that
cop
Sonic
film.
It's a buddy
With
cop
a
film.
really unusual buddy.
But it is more child friendly than Pokemon Detective Pikachu because it doesn't have the teeth of Ryan Reynolds and the little edge of the monkeys being pricks and stuff and people getting a bit angry. But yeah, it's like Sonic the movie. The Sonic the movie has almost nothing to do with the games. Like they reimagine Green Hills. Like
As a neighborhood.
Yeah, it's just a neighborhood on Earth.
Oh, what?
Exactly. And like Dr. Robotnik is
Such an outrage.
right? And you would think that would be a deal breaker. And the rings that he collects are for interdimensional travel. That's never, I think, been a thing in Sonic games.
I'm okay with that. Makes good sense.
I think they invented a character who's an owl, who's kind of his mother figure. But they invented a lot of stuff. But you kind of forgive it. Like, which Sonic video game have you played where James Marsden follows him around?
Sonic 1 and 2. And Mortal Kombat 1, 2 and 3.
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot. Johnny Cage, Raiden, Scorpion, James Marsden, the actor James Marsden.
He was fucking great. He used to kick the shit out
I was
of
Cyclops once. One of the least popular characters. Anyway, yes, but it's a competently told film about an alien coming to Earth and getting help. There's a touch of the ETs about it. There's a touch of,
cool.
You know, it's
Jim
fine.
Carrey's in it.
And Jim Carrey's in it, and he overacts to hell, but he's good.
That's what Jim Carrey does.
I've never understood this. Sorry, I didn't mean to bang the table.
No, go on.
Now, what is overacting? Like, what? How can you overact?
Well, we're going to stop this hedgehog if it's the last thing that I do.
It's supposed to be outrageous, though. That's
it
the
is.
whole
Yeah,
point.
that's
So
a
how
fair
can
point.
you? I don't know.
I don't know why you would ever get Jim Carrey for a film and expect him to tone it down.
Yeah,
like, it's just
exactly.
like, look, we want Jim for his quiet and disciplined approach to characters.
Seen Eternal Sunshine of the
I have
Spotless
seen
Mind?
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless
That
Mind.
Charlie Hoffman film.
23.
23.
Yeah, I mean, he's very good. Jim Carrey.
He's a very good actor.
And he has a big funny mustache.
And he has a big funny mustache. I just enjoy Jim Carrey when he's playing the mask in everything that he's ever done since. I'm just a big fan.
Very good.
Yeah.
There was one other thing. Oh, we haven't had a chance to talk about my favourite video game movie of all time. My favourite video game movie, Ben, as you can probably tell by some of the action figures that's dotted around the room, is Street Fighter the movie.
Rick and Morty, the mobile video game.
Another terrible movie. But it's so good.
It single-handedly has the best and worst villain name of all time, M. Bison.
M. Bison. Do you want to, Nisha? Do you know the story of M. Bison? Do you want to tell Ben?
I don't know the
your
background
lowest
of
point?
the
Go on, you
the
tell me
name.
the story of M.
Yeah,
Bison.
no, this is the thing, right? So there are 4 bosses in Street Fighter 2, right? There's a Spanish bullfighter.
Yes.
There's a
The guy with
boxer.
the mask.
The guy with
Vega.
the mask and the claw.
Vega.
Well, hold on. There's a reason I'm not saying the names.
Oh,
sorry.
There's a Spanish bullfighter. There's a boxer. There's a Muay Thai fighter. And there's an evil dictator. In the Japanese original, the evil dictator's name was Vega. The Muay Thai fighter's name was Sagat. The Spanish bullfighter's name was Balrog. And the boxer's name was M. Bison. M. Bison, Mike Tyson. Because it was Mike Tyson. He even has Mike Tyson's haircut from the time that Street Fighter 2 was released. But they knew they couldn't get away with that internationally because Mike Tyson would sue them. So they shuffled the names around.
And they're like,
No
it's
way.
just ridiculous.
Yeah. So M.
I
Bison.
can't believe I never heard that.
Yeah, so M. Bison became
Yeah.
the dictator. They shifted the name Vega to this kind of Spanish guy because Vegas, it's vaguely Spanish.
Yeah.
And then the boxer became Balrog. So that's why the evil dictator is called M. Bison.
I had no idea.
Mike Bison, Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
That's so
Coincidentally,
cool.
why you changed your name to Mick?
No, it's
To
like
mimic, to come closer
my
to
actual
to-
birth name.
No. Your mum saw Street Fighter 2
Yeah.
and was like,
my real name is Philip.
the Michael and Philip podcast didn't really, or the Philip and Ben podcast didn't have the same ring to it. So why do you like the Street Fighter movie?
First of all, it's great.
Yeah.
Second of all, Ming-Na Wen plays Chun-Li.
And that has been formative in several forms.
But it has one of the greatest lines, and I'm probably going to get this wrong, but it has one of the greatest lines in video game cinema history. So Chun-Li, Ming-Na Wen, she's on a mission to get M. Bison. She wants to get revenge on him because he destroyed her village and killed her family.
Oh, classic dictator stuff.
And for when she finally tracks him down and they have their showdown, and he's like, I don't know who you are. And she says, you do. And he says, for you, the day bison came to your town and killed your parents was the most important day of your life. For me, it was a Tuesday.
Oh,
Yes.
that
Sickener.
is badass.
Yeah. And then he
Sickener.
then he makes Giles' friend into Blanca, and it's all very bizarre.
Yeah.
But it's another classic. Don't follow the story. Just do a kind of shitty military movie.
It was definitely more video game influence though, but mainly because all they needed to do was take these specific 8 main characters, then 12 main characters.
By that stage, it's 12,
including the bad
bosses.
guys, and just throw them wherever you want,
Yeah, and have Kylie Minogue in it.
and then have Kylie
Yeah.
Minogue as Kimmy,
Put Kylie Minogue in anything and all, would you?
It's true actually.
and then like Guile, who's supposed to be the most American person ever, is played by Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Hey guys, we're gonna go. I can't do it. I
You
can't
tried-
do
tried to do
it. Can you do
That
Jean-Claude Van Damme?
was, no, I can't. I haven't had time to prep. That was that actor's last movie for M. Bison, wasn't it? He
Yeah,
passed away
Raoul
shortly
Julia.
after this.
Yeah.
He was more famous for
Adam's Family.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it was his last movie, unfortunately.
He did it for his son. I remember reading that. He was
Oh,
asked
really?
why.
Yeah.
He was asked why you would do the Street Fighter because he had a little bit of reputation and renown as a decent actor.
Yeah.
Like, why would you sign on to a bloody thing? And he was like, "It's for my sons when I'm gone. I want them
That's
to have
pretty
like
cool.
a thing to watch as kids and
Yeah.
something to see."
Like it's a fun movie. Like again, it might not be the best movie.
It's definitely
But
not the
it
best.
is a fun movie. If you're a fan of the original Street Fighters, like back when I was a kid, I loved it.
Uh-huh.
I couldn't like the same with Super Mario Bros. I loved it, but I think it was, although critics or whatever might say it's terrible, it's definitely a fun movie. There's no denying it.
This guy here.
I'm just saying what's commonly accepted. Hi, I am Prick Monkey. I am Ben. I am one of the 2 people on the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it from
Are we
us.
done? We're wrapping up.
It's the bloody. What did I miss?
Well, you know what the polar opposite of that was?
Go on.
Because this is a video game from the same era, but a movie which is a bit more true to the spirit of what it was. The first Mortal Kombat movie is actually pretty good.
Yeah,
Mortal
yeah,
Kombat.
absolutely.
Now, have you ever played Mortal Kombat, Ben?
I played Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3, Michael, because once upon a
Oh, God. Nisha, what did you think of the Mortal Kombat movie?
I liked there was 2 of them, possibly 3, definitely 2. I liked them. I haven't seen them in a long, long time, but I do remember. I like them all, man. See, this is the problem. You're not gonna get me to argue because I like them all. Like all these terrible films, I like them.
there's no shame in that. We here at the podcast are quite a fan of terrible films on occasion. But yeah, that was pretty interesting. That was probably the best choice for Shao. I can never remember his name. What's the name of the evil wizard in Mortal Kombat?
Shang Tsung.
Shang Tsung. Great casting. Great evil wizard. Shang Tsung. Very enjoyable.
Every time I think of Mortal Kombat, I think of Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very influenced, I'd say.
I think influenced the other way around, though. I think
really? Yeah.
I think a lot of the character designs for Mortal Kombat were influenced by Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, that's what yeah.
Yeah.
It's
What a
such
film.
a
It's
Big
a
Trouble in
great-
Little
absolutely
China.
great
What a
film.
flick.
Is that getting a reboot?
Probably.
I think it is.
Everything's getting
really?
a reboot
Yeah,
these
it is,
days.
yeah.
Should we make a reboot of it? Is that what we
Just
should do?
the 3 of us.
Just the 3 of us.
Who plays Jack Burton?
Come on, get
All of
Nisha in
us-
there.
all of
Get
us
Nisha in there.
different times.
Oh, all of us at
We'll
different
do like
times.
It's Always Sunny when they make Lethal Weapon. Have you
Oh,
ever seen
yeah,
that?
that'd be great. No blackface, though. We're not doing
No,
blackface
no
here.
blackface.
No, we'll stay away from that. That wouldn't do us any favours.
Not
We here
again.
at the podcast. Not again. Not again. Our failed Moon Knight short film. We're doing that.
Nisha's Instagram.
Sorry, yeah. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it from us this week. We'd like to give a huge thank you to Naoise, who came along and gave time out of his busy Sunday to talk to us about terrible and not so terrible video game movies. You can find him at Retro Gamer Ireland on Instagram. Anywhere else that you'd like to plug there, Naoise?
Nah, that's it.
That's it. At Retro Gamer
I'm
Ireland,
good
so
with
you can watch his collection grow and watch his love of retro games expand and go on. Give him an L follow. He's a lovely guy. He gave us a hand. He gave us a dig out today. If you want to hear more from us, don't know why you would, but if you do, we're all over the internet. We are on Instagram at Seomrabeag, SEOMRABEAG.
Means Sunny Room in Irish.
We are
Kind
We are also online if you'd like a more formal internet experience at seomrabeag.com, SEO TinyRoomBeag.com.
Means tiny room in Irish.
Kind of. And then you can get in touch with us. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us now a like.
Yeah.
Go
if
on.
you're one of those last remnants watching us on YouTube,
Just
get
give
on
us-
Spotify.
Get
What's
on
wrong with
Spotify.
I watch on YouTube.
you? Thanks, Nisha.
I'm sorry. I'll get on to Spotify tonight.
You absolute pillock.
Oh no, what have I done?
This is Nisha, our first and last ever guest on the podcast, because no one's ever going to come along again.
No, what have I done?
Ladies and gentlemen, what was your first experience with retro games? Do you still play them today? Do you miss them? How do you feel about video game movies
do,
as
yeah, I still play
adaptations?
them today.
For the listeners. How do you feel about video game adaptations? Are there any that we missed? Are there any really good ones that we haven't given a fair shakedown to? Get in touch with us.
Prince
and
of
let
Persia.
us know. Yeah, we might have Nisha back on again to discuss more modern adaptations away from the retro gamer thing. That's it from us this week. That's bye from Mick and myself. And
Bye from me.
there we go. See you, Nisha. Bye.
Bye.